Cody Kerns, thank you so much for taking the time for this interview. It should take just about 15 minutes.
We're going to have to jam it. We want to cut it in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to be cautious of your time. So let's just let it run and we'll see what happens from there. So a little introduction on how I got to know Cody. Cody was actually speaking at the Plugged In conference. So the Plugged In conference, there's one coming up, so go sign up for it. This is one of the best conferences I attended. It was all about social media. And when Cody spoke, it really hit me. So I was at Plugged In because Thatch Nguyen, he's one of my mentors. He was speaking there. I went out there and didn't really think much of it, but I was there to support Thatch. Anyways, I learned a ton. And Cody was this dude. How old are you, Cody?
I'm 27.
So here I am, 25 years old. Cody, who's 27, is up here just having a ton of success. This guy's making paper. And then Thatch whispers to me, this dude reminds me of you, talking about Cody. So that's even more motivation. Like, Cody's done an amazing job at building a personal brand, and that's something that I've been interested in. So I appreciate Cody taking this time to take that a step further so I can learn and so all of you guys can learn as well. So I already know Cody's a baller. I heard him speak in front of 300 people, but I want to give him the opportunity to introduce himself. 30 seconds, a minute, whatever, no rules at all, Cody. I want an introduction.
No rules?
No rules, baby.
I'm just kidding. I'm 27. I'm an entrepreneur now in South Florida. I'm from a small town in upstate New York. Growing up, my grandpa was my main influence, watching him run a company, and still to this day, he's 83 years old. He goes to work, 5 days a week. So it's just, what fuels him. And I saw that as a young kid. He really became my idol. Didn't have a dad growing up. So I feel like guys, gravitate towards other guys to look, in what direction they can take and who they want to model after. For me, that was my guy. Like, I knew, at 10 years old, I wanted to be like him. I tried the college thing, man, throughout high school, was just going with the flow, right? Like in high school, it's a tough period to try and be an adult. So when you go to college, that's when you make that transition to say, okay, I'm going to adulthood, right? This is where I need to figure it out. For me, college was a distraction. I'm a huge product of my environment. I started doing the wrong things. I got with the wrong crowds and I was heading down a path I didn't want to be going down. So I left after 1 year, which was tough because I watched all my friends continue to go to school. And in the moment, it's scary, man, when you're not going to have a degree. You're back at home at 19 years old and you don't really know which direction to take. So that year I dropped out, just the way that universe works, God works, whatever it is, you believe in. I got presented this opportunity to join a network marketing company. This is back in 2013. I took the chance, started getting into self-development, positive affirmations, reading books, listening to audios, just completely ripped out my social life and said, I'm going to go all in on this and just hope that it works. And that's kind of what you got to do sometimes, right? Is just fully commit with no plan B and just make sure it works. Network marketing was amazing. I didn't make too much money, but I met amazing people. It taught me the self-education. I took all that resume and working with hundreds of people and got a corporate job. All right. So I'm almost done here, but this is really important because I was 21 years old. I landed a corporate job. Okay. My friends are juniors and seniors in college. They're still in school. I already landed the corporate job. So now I'm ahead of the game. Let's go. I got a $30,000 salary. I'm feeling good, right? I'm still back where I grew up. And I wanted to do sales really bad because I knew in sales, you could control your income to some extent, right? Rather than just being in a fixed position. So I went out within my first couple months. I got them a deal. Okay. I got them a helicopter transport deal.
Wow.
kept being persistent, because in network marketing and like all the self-development, it's like, let's go 100 miles an hour, right? I got called into the office and they said, Cody, you're becoming a distraction to the company. You're not going to continue to sell for like another 12 to 18 months. You're going to train and sit in that desk. That day I made the decision, I'm not ever going to be held down again in my life. Okay. I came down to South Florida on a whim. I interviewed on Grant Cardone's Whatever It Takes show. He kicked me off. So now network marketing failed, corporate job failed. I took a leap down to South Florida to come work for Grant Cardone, failed. That same day, man, I got picked up by my buddy down here and said, you know, what does the economy need? What does the marketplace need? It was social media growth. If I can help get people in front of other people and help them build influence, there's got to be something there. We named the company I Come Up in 2015, April 1st, 2015, and haven't looked back since. So that was my last corporate job, and just feeling good. We've worked with almost, 6,000 people at this point over the last 7-8 years to help grow their brand. And it's been fun. And it's obviously like translated into all these other opportunities with e-com and real estate and stuff you heard me talking about. So that was definitely longer than a minute, but it's hard to tell a life story. And
there's no rules. So if that's not motivating, then I don't know what is. Cody, there are so many people in your shoes that have this same thought process of let's just jump into it, but they don't take that action. So congrats on that part. That takes a huge amount of faith. So let's rewind a bit. How much did you make with your network marketing gig after you dropped out of college?
Oh, nothing. I think I made, so I went to college 2012 to 13. So 2013, my first year network marketing, like probably $3,000. Okay. 2014, I think I made like 10,000. And then 2015, I made like 13,000. I was still living at home, like doing all this. So yeah, 2013, and then 2014, I landed that corporate job, 30,000 a year salary. And then 2015, I came back down to zero because I quit. And then 2016 and up, my income just completely took off. Yeah.
So realistically, that's not even a real job. $7,000 a year. It's not going to pay any bills. It's a great side gig, but really it's not going to help you live on your own.
Right? Totally. But dude, that's what sacrifice is. It's like, of course I could have gone and waited tables and made 30, 40 grand a year. But to me, it was, if I sacrifice on, everything now, and I give up my social life and I stop going out all the time, and I start reading books, and I start, writing notes to myself about who I want to be in the future and rehearsing them, and it paid off. And to me, that sacrifice for 3 or 4 years has made me millions of dollars, so it's kind of like most people get on this graph of life and just kind of like slowly go. And then you're 65, 70 and you have, $1 million and you retire, and then the curve is done. It's like, mine was like this. And then it just exponentially started to go. And I've seen so many other entrepreneurs have that same path of like, nothing, oh, little something, nothing, oh, failure, nothing. And then in 1-2 years, it just completely takes off.
That's insane. That should be honestly a key takeaway for a lot of you. It's never going to be an overnight success. It's about the belief and the sacrifice. Think about how many times Cody could have given up, several times through that process, but look at where he is today. So that reminds me, before we jump into the next questions, I need to butt in and ask about your car situation. Cody, I've seen it for myself on IG, but just so everyone else knows, how many cars do you have and which ones?
Yeah, I'll share. So I bought my first real car that I bought was a 1 Series BMW, and I think that was July of 2016. That was the year that I made my first like 100K, and it was feeling good. I wanted to reward myself, and the cars to me are just the reward. So there's 2 different ways to see it. I have people that get super motivated by it and understand. And then you have people that hate on it because they don't understand what it is. the car for me is nothing more than a reward to myself. Some people love to go out and blow money at clubs. Some people like boats. Some people charter jets. Some people rent like whatever it is, right? Some people go on trips with their family. All that stuff, it takes a lot of money, man. But you got to feel good about what you're doing. So for me, it was always cars. I just love cars. I want to have a collection, and it's something I'm passionate in. So I got that 1 Series. Then I got an M3. Then I had 2 M3s at one point. That's when I knew, I was like, all right, this is gonna get a little out of control. So yeah, that was 2017. Now I have 3 Lambos, Range Rover, and I have another really cool brand new one on order that'll be here soon. So I've lost money in the car game, but it's like, to me, I don't really care because I get to market it. I have a great time. It gets me into events and go places, and that's my thing, man. So
Exactly. Yeah, people are gonna hate no matter what. I honestly love cars too. I haven't hit my growth spurt yet to where I can afford these kind of supercars. But I am a firm believer that investment shouldn't always have a strict dollar sign ROI. I think that quality of life means a lot. So spending money on what makes you happy is super important. Like, for example, my wife and I, we spend a lot of money on food and travel because that makes us happy. But I get it. There's always going to be those trolls out there. Yeah, and honestly, in that same point, the traditional mindset just paves you into this world where you go to school, you work till you're 65, then you're banking on Social Security. My mindset is opposite of that. I want to put more risk so that I can enjoy my life. And there's nothing against that traditional mindset, but to me, that seems a lot more risky. You're going to put all your eggs, all your time into this one basket so you can do what everyone else is doing. I would much rather put in this risk and live the life that I want to.
Yeah, I just think it's important for the people like watching or whoever use just to, when you're mapping out what you want your future to look like, you got to remember to put in the stuff that just makes you feel good. Like if you're not going to feel good in entrepreneurship, you'll burn out within a year or two. And you got to keep that vision as long as it takes. Like for me, I was like, I'll own a Lamborghini, right? And I don't care if it takes me until I'm 40 or 25. It doesn't matter to me. It's irrelevant. It's already done. You know, the moment that it's put down, it's just how long is it going to take now? So you obviously need the right vehicle to get you to where your goals are. You can't be working your job and have this disbelief like one day I'll start my business and do it. You got to have a solid action plan, of course, and a way to be able to legitimately make the capital to fulfill whatever it is that you're wanting to do, you know?
Yeah. And on that same point, I think so much of the traditional mindset, nothing against that, but that's the opposite of my belief, is the traditional mindset paves you into this world that you go to school, you go to college, you have a job, like you said, till 65, you hope that you have saved enough on retirement and then Social Security. And I personally, when people talk about investing being risky, I look at that mindset and that lifestyle, that seems a lot more risky to me. You're going to wait till you're 65 to finally live the life that you want.
Totally. I think a lot of people, you know, in our generation and even older, 30s, 40s, like they're starting to realize that's not what life is supposed to be. You know, I think we're like we're in a really crazy time period right now. Like we're in the midst of a lot of different cycles happening with money and cryptos and governments and just all this stuff, everyone working from home. Like I'm curious to see over the next decade what happens, man.
Dude, it is an insane time. Like, honestly, if you just look at the current real estate market, look at what's happening, it's insane. So that brings me up to another point. I think it's crucial during these insane times that we are not naive. So for me personally, I center a lot of my initiatives over what I want to learn. So Cody, a little bit of background on me. I found a lot of my success in real estate. the small amount of success that I have, I've amassed 10 units, and I'm now 25, and I did a lot of that in the past year. But I don't want to be naive, because I know a lot of people had success in this past year. So I am centering an interview or a panel around those who have invested since 2008 and those that are still investing. So I think it's important that we are putting ourselves in a position to not be naive in these insane times. That goes for crypto, that goes for real estate, whatever it may be. So now that we've done our little intro, let's dive right into the questions. Cody, I've had so many people try and tear me down on this social media journey, even the people closest to me.
I've already made new friends then, man.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, these people who are close to you, they think they know what they're talking about and they want what's best for you, so they're always voicing their opinion. But Cody, what can you speak on with these naysayers who think they know about social media, but they don't?
I mean, it's true, and I always tell people, like, if you've never put yourself out there, the only people that you have watching you are the people you've known for decades, right? Friends, family, people you grew up with. I phrase it like this, and I did a podcast literally yesterday talking about this same exact thing. Let's say you have, an Instagram with 300 followers, right? And they're all from your hometown, friends, family, whatever. They're all in a bottle, right? So when you post something, everyone in that bottle is going to see what it is you just put out. They want to see what they've always seen. The moment you put yourself out there and start to be an entrepreneur, a business person, or go on a vacation or do something out of the norm, you're shaking that bottle, okay? They're gonna get a little angry or confused or happy or positive or criticize. You're gonna get all these emotions. If you can't handle those emotions, don't use Instagram or social media to try and get any business. That's okay, right? Like, you can use your social media for personal use. If you want money out of it and connections and relationships, you got to shake that bottle until it literally explodes. And what'll happen is, of those 300 people, you'll get 5 to 10 to 20 that actually respect and support what it is you're doing. And they're going to go and do business with you or refer you to someone. The other 270 are just going to talk about you to people they know, which then is going to grow your brand even more, right? So every person of influence, man, they have controversy around them. They spark drama. They're up, they're down. They're showing every aspect of life. And for me, it's just finding a few people that you want to model after that do have large followings and success and influence, and just mimic kind of what they do. You don't want to copy, but you want to get inspiration and mimic. So look, anyone who naysays, I don't care. Like, I've done it myself. The proof is in the pudding. I have thousands of people I've worked with. I know hundreds of people that use their Instagram, just Instagram, to fuel multi-7, 8-figure businesses. So the naysayer is just someone who doesn't know, right?
Yeah,
that's all.
Exactly. And I have always heard, like, if you're having some haters, that means you're in the right direction. I even heard it from you at the Plugged In conference. So I've heard that, and actually I've finally started getting some random haters in my videos every once in a while. In a random reel or TikTok, I'll get some haters, and I'm like, there we go, I'm going in the right direction. So that's been exciting.
The haters are good, man. Like, but you don't want to focus on just getting haters. Like, yeah. It comes down to like the whole thing of whatever you're going to put your focus on is what you're going to attract, right? So for me, I'm looking for deals. Like, the haters are just in the weeds. They're a part of it, and that's all.
So I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too much, but I think a lot of people are scared of social media because of these naysayers or because of these haters in their comments. So what could you speak on with that aspect?
Kind of what I just said before. Like, if you're going to fight that feeling over and over again, then don't do it. But don't expect to get business from it. I'm at the point where social media has been around for 15 years now. It's not new. It's not a brand new idea. People build their brands and get business from social media all the time. And we use it to find things that we like. When we go on vacation, we'll go to a state and search for restaurants and see who's checking in places and see what that landscape looks like to see if we want to visit it. So all I would tell them is if they want to do it, but they're nervous or whatever, just go look at everyone else that is using it and is succeeding with it, whether they have a small business, whether they're local, they can work with people around the country. Just dive in and look at what's going on so that their confidence increases. When they have confidence, they'll be more willing to put themselves out there, you know?
I love that. You hit it on the head. So the next question I want to ask you, Cody, is there a difference between people just posting on Instagram versus actually trying to build a personal brand?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like you're going to the gym and lifting 5-pound weights, or you're straining your muscles and lifting 30, 40, 50-pound weights, right? It's kind of the same exact thing. I mean, you definitely want to have intention. And what I always tell people is, we've used this for years. It's just when you're branding yourself, you want to break it down into 3 buckets. Okay. So on your social media, the most effective way that you can use it, let's Instagram, for example, is going to be your personal life, your professional life, and then what you like to do for fun and hobbies, right? For me, it's cars. That's my hobby. People relate with it. I get connections all the time from it. Personal life, my fiance, my dog, our house, things that I like, in the gym, whatever it might be. And then your professional life, ironically, people make this mistake all the time, is only a third of what your brand should be. Most people come on and all of a sudden, oh, I'm using social media, I paid someone some money, so now every post I'm gonna do is about business, do this, buy that, buy this, buy that. And 2 months later, they give up. There's no pace to it. You can't sprint a marathon, So for me, I want to break it into 3 categories that I can stay genuine on and that I know I can pace on forever until I die, right? Like, I plan to use social media as long as it's around or until I'm not here, because every single connection and opportunity is just on the other side of this phone that I can meet through an app and then pull that relationship into real life, just like we're doing now, and boom, that's it. That's the whole point of social media. So
I love that.
I really just think people need to not come on. This happens with us a lot. People will pay us money, and then all of a sudden their brand changes and they're only posting photos of the showings of the real estate houses. It's like you're doing the complete opposite of what needs to be done, right? So got to break it up, man. You got to stay creative, and you definitely need to put effort into to categorize and bucket out, yourself and what you're portraying to people.
That is the truth. And when I heard you say that, Cody, I've heard this a ton of times. I heard you say it at the Plugged In conference, but I needed this reminder. So I'm definitely going to come back, write some notes, and rewatch this. So thanks. But what you're saying is you can't just post about your business. A lot of times when people are wanting to dive into social media, they always say, I need to post more. I need to post more. But when they think about just posting about their showings every day or posting about just their business, it can sound overwhelming. And so if you actually make it less of a stress-free task, like, okay, I'm going to post about my dog, I'm going to post about my wife, I'm going to post about my hobbies, and then a third of it will be the business. That sounds a lot less overwhelming to me to keep up with social media versus just business.
What you just said, like, I just heard it from you, right? Like, not even you to me, it's just human beings in general. I do it all the time. Humans, right, from your brand perspective, you go on social media, dude, you have to remind people every day what it is that you do. Everyone is so distracted, me, you, her, him. 30 seconds, you're already thinking about something else. You're already looking at something else. So that's also important with your personal brand, is that consistency. And I talk about that pace, that marathon pace, because just because I said it on stage 5 months ago, 99.9% of people haven't been consistent, right?
Exactly.
So you just have to find a way to stay consistent every day, man. I'm showing up every single day. It's just part of my routine.
I love it. So my next question for you, Cody, there's a lot of businesses out there where it's obvious you need to build a personal brand. The real estate agents, the loan officers, But there's some others that aren't as obvious, such as for me, I'm a real estate investor. So who, in your opinion, should be trying to build a personal brand on social media?
Anybody trying to grow their business, like anybody trying to achieve more. All social media is it's a network to meet more human beings. It's not a place to close contracts and get home loans and whatever it is that you sell a car. It's literally just to connect with another human being. Through the connection is where all the deals will come. People want to reverse it and post and just think a deal is going to come to them. Oh yeah, can I mortgage my $500,000 house with you through an Instagram DM? No, that sounds ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But what I can say is if they've seen that person and they've built trust with that person and they've communicated with that person, who are they going to think of? The person who's in their face every day showing they're crushing it, or the guy down the road that's got the picket fence sign saying we do loans? It's like, of course, the person that is in their face every day. So social media to me is just a place to constantly be able to follow up with people and stay top of mind with them. It just, like I said, everyone's so distracted. You want to be top of mind, and that's it. So anyone trying to build a business, man, needs to be on social media and not obsessed with it, not using it in the wrong ways, just simply staying active and present. So when someone does think to go get a home loan, who are they going to think of? Like, that's it. That's all I need is when people think of social media or e-commerce or whatever it is, I want Cody, me, to be at the top of their mind. So when they're ready, they contact me, right? It takes a while though. It's like a delayed effect, and that's why social media it's a forever thing, because it's an ongoing wheel. It's not just, oh, I'm going to do it for 3 months and then stop, right? It'll never just continue to go by itself. It's silly to think that. So, man, I get people that are like, dude, I've been following you for 3 years and I'm ready to do something. It's like, amazing, let's go, you know? Like a business card. You got to use your Instagram and social media as a business card too. And in real life situations, if I'm with a client or showing a house or in a meeting, I'm going to get their social media, because that way they can see a little bit deeper into who I am, which people love. They love to have that connection, you know?
So correct me if I'm wrong, Cody. It sounds like social media is giving you free advertising. You're throwing your face out in front of these clients constantly, and that'll help you get more business.
Yeah.
Okay, my next question for you, Cody. Let's say an individual is finally ready to start building their personal brand. What are the next steps that they should take?
They need to be spending money with a company, team, or person to hold them accountable and actually deliver something that can help grow their brand. Without them putting skin in the game, they're not going to stay committed. Like, with no money transacted, people, they won't stay committed, you know? So that's the number one thing is, I don't care if it's $500 a month or $50,000 a month, whatever that person's spend is, they need to put money out. It's the only way you'll get money back, and it's the only way you'll stay accountable, right, with yourself. That's the number one step, right? I think we've kind of talked about the other two in a sense is just that consistency and in staying interesting, like staying entertaining and showing people those three categories of who you are as a person, not overdoing the business sense. You know what I mean? And then the third one is just going to be leveraging it just like you would a business card. So I wouldn't get so caught up in the, oh, I haven't gotten any leads for my Instagram in the last 3 weeks or 2 months. No worries. Go use it in real life, right? People have real lives. Make sure every lead and potential customer, friend, person you meet is following you on Instagram so they can see who you are. And you just have to, over years, build this wheelhouse of you can spin it. And when you make an offer, boom, one will come out. Bingo, you got it, right? Someone just did a deal with you on social media.
When you said that if they don't have skin in the game, they're going to waste their time, I retweeted that. I retweet. In 2021, I wasted so much of my time teaching people that I loved about real estate. They were interested, but I spent hours and hours teaching these people about real estate. But I ended up getting pretty frustrated because no one took me serious. No one took this knowledge and actually did anything with it. And exactly what you said, the reason was they didn't have skin in the game. And at that time, I wasn't in a place where I could charge for coaching.
But when would you ever be in the place to charge money for coaching? Like, you think coaches, every coach out here charging money is just like the championship coach? Not at all.
I agree.
They're figuring it out as they're going, man.
I think it's exactly that. I just did not have the mindset at the time. So you're 100% correct. And now I finally made that mindset shift. I do charge for coaching, and people no longer waste my time because they have skin in the game. If they don't have skin in the game, they're going to waste my time 100% of the time.
Waste their own time too.
Exactly.
That's all they're doing. It's not like they're going into it like, I'm going to waste Cody's time or your time. It's they end up wasting their own time. Right?
100%.
That's all it is.
And time is money, dude. Like I always say, mind space is the #1 currency, and second right behind that is time. So if these people are wasting my time, I needed to figure out a solution. And so I finally did. I started charging for my coaching, and that solved the problem. Cody, the next question that I want to ask you is about platforms. So if someone's trying to build a personal brand, should they stick to one platform, like just stick with Instagram? Should they add TikTok in the mix, YouTube? I'm asking this more selfishly because this is something I'm exploring, but I would love to hear your side of this.
It just depends on their capital, their commitment, how much time they can dedicate to it. If someone's working and building a business and they're a solo man or solo woman, or they have a very small team and no one can help manage all of this stuff, then just one. Why go thin when you could just put it all on one? For me, it's Instagram. I have other platforms, but it's 99% just Instagram. I feel people will want to do a YouTube and a podcast and an Instagram and a Facebook, and all of a sudden it becomes a full-time job for them. They're spending hours a day, they're getting no return from it, and they burn out within a year, right? Or whatever, however long that is. So I'm all about consistency, man. Like, I know myself, I know for me, it's this one platform. I have friends that are savages and will edit their own YouTube videos, and they'll spend the hours because that's what they want to do, So to each his own. It's whatever they're comfortable with. But if they're new, definitely just one platform. I mean, absolutely, unless they hire a company that can help manage those other platforms.
I love it. And that's something that I needed to hear, because one, these companies have different algorithms. It's not all the same. So you're going to be spending a lot of time if you're trying to master TikTok, Instagram, YouTube all at the same time. That's going to take a ton of time. So for me personally, I have invested in a social media manager to help me with these things. But if I didn't, then I'd be in the weeds. I'd be struggling tough. So take this advice from Cody and don't spread yourself too thin. So the next question that I wanted to ask you, Cody, what are the 3 most important lessons you have learned on your path to success?
Yeah, number 1 is going to be putting yourself first. Okay. So a lot of times people in general, I hate using the word entrepreneur. Everyone's an entrepreneur in their own way, right? Just humans in general, what's your goal? I want to retire my parents. What's your goal? I want to do this. I want to do that. Most of the time it's for other people because we want to help other people. We want to help our family and make sure everyone is good. And that's a great thing, but being selfish is not a bad thing. And selfish, just that word, I think has a bad rep. Oh, he's selfish. She's selfish. That sounds negative to you, right? They're arrogant, right? All these words that kind of go along with that selfishness. To me, that's the most important thing somebody can be. Why? Because they've committed to taking care of themselves, which then allows them to go and take care of other people.
I
So
love that.
it's a huge mistake that people will make their whole life, and they'll never understand why they can't get ahead. It's because they've never sat down and said, what do I want? Like, what do I want out of life? And I know if I get what I want, I can then go and get everybody else around me exactly what they want. Money, health, relationships, whatever it is, whatever it is you choose to focus on. So, like, look at the personal trainer thing is just the easiest reference. Like, is the guy who's the best personal trainer the guy who's overweight and he's doing it for other people? No, he's in the gym more than anybody else. He is on his meals more than anybody else. He is the most consistent. That's why he's a personal trainer, right? So I don't know why people with fitness, it's like okay to be selfish there, but not with money and business. And man, you gotta be looking out for yourself. Absolutely, because if you crumble, nothing else is gonna happen, like, at all.
Before you go into number 2, Cody,
What you just said, Cody, was a freaking gem. Like I said, my mantra is always mind space number 1, time number 2. If your mind is not right in the head, you will not have the energy to help anyone else in your life. So you need to be selfish in order to get your mind right so that you can bless others.
100%. Oh man, it's always so hard, like top 3, and I didn't want to like pre-script it or try and like think of things, because I like just in the moment feeling, but that is by far like number 1 thing ever. Okay,
I love that.
Second thing, I'm biased because it's what I've done for 7 years, is the social media, like Instagram. The usage of it has changed my life simply because of the people I've met. Like, without the people that you meet and you connect with, you'll never get anywhere. Like, you can't do it all yourself, right? So whether it's social media or not, I just think the second one would be, you can't do everything yourself. That's another huge downfall of people that go into business for themselves. They want to do everything themselves. Everyone else is terrible at it. They're the best at it. Like, I hear this all the time, like, oh yeah, they don't work that hard, right? Talking about the people on their own team. Or I want 100% of the profits, or I could do this better, or I'm going to take that model and go do it myself. That's happened to me so many times. People on my team think they can go and take the model and do it themselves, right? Without a team and connections and relationships, you'll never make a lot of money. You might get by, you might do all right, but you'll never get to the millions and millions without amazing relationships and good people and teams that you can plug into. You don't always have to be the CEO or the owner or the founder of it. Just places you can plug into that you all can succeed, and you'll actually earn more money doing it like that. So that's huge, man. Like, we're going through this time period where everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to be their own boss. Economies cannot work like that. You can't have 300 million sole proprietors. It's like, it just doesn't work. You need systems, you need teams. And I am just a huge advocate for people being a part of teams, and it's not degrading. It's not, you're an employee or a worker. Dude, we're all on the same team. You can make more than the owners if you work hard enough, for real. So I don't know. I'm just a big believer in that. And I don't like the theme in entrepreneurship of like, F a 9 to 5, F this. It's like, oh, jobs are terrible. That's just not what we need to have a good economy. So that's definitely the second most important, is having teams and just trying to dissolve your ego but still keep it strong, right? I think a strong ego is good, but you got to dissolve it and really be okay with guys or girls right around you that are levels ahead of you, and be inspired by it genuinely, not forcefully, genuinely inspired to be like, oh, I want to be like that, and I want to get past them in a fun, competitive way, right? Like how NFL players and NBA players, they don't want to fist fight each other because they lose the game. They're just like, man, I wanted that championship so bad, I'm going to cry I lost, That's the attitude in business.
If more people could only adopt that mindset. I think there's so many people out there who compare themselves in a negative light to others. Social media makes that part tough.
to more
It's
of an
tough.
abundance. Yeah, it is tough, but I've always, not always, but lately I've been so proud of like my circle.
Networking. And so lately I've been looking at my circle and just, I get pumped up because they've been killing it. Seeing these people around me just crushing it hypes me up so much. So I just got a $30,000 wholesale deal. I'm over here feeling all good. Then my homie just gets a $225,000 wholesale deal. That's like that's insane. And that fires me up. That motivates me to want to go out there and freaking crush it even more.
I love that.
Yeah, and people will be motivated, but deep down, and they'll never say it to anybody else because all human beings do this, they'll be jealous and angry about it. I don't care what anyone says, like, we all are there, you know, it's just identifying that and being like, no, like, you got to command yourself, like, no, bad, that's a bad feeling to have. It's going to attract more bad feeling. I need to be genuinely happy for this person because that's what I want for myself, you know?
That awareness. Yeah.
Third thing, I don't know, man. I think just feeling good in life, and it's different for everyone. So I can't really give advice on that, but the last thing you want to be doing is doing stuff that makes you feel bad. So I don't know if it's a job, that's the most generic thing. Oh, you hate your job? Figure out a plan and have no plan B. Like, leave what makes you feel like shit and go find something that doesn't. It's so black and white, you know? So I'll never do anything again in my, like, at 21 years old, I was like, I'm never going to do anything again in life that suppresses me and makes me feel like this. And I haven't so far, and I'm pretty set right now. Like, you know, could you retire with X amount of millions? Like, yeah, I mean, you'd have to live a humble life because you wouldn't work for 50 years, but you know, it's just like feeling good and not, you know, skinning yourself and sacrificing your like soul to just simply exist. It's something I think a lot of people do, and you just can't do that. You got to feel good, and you got to find opportunities that you can make money with. Again, you can't be in a place that doesn't allow you to make a lot of money, but have goals and dreams that kill you every day because that's what you want, but you're not able to achieve them. And unfortunately, money is the tool used on this planet. So good, bad, whatever you think it is, you know, all it's going to do is just make you more of who you are and allow you to do the things that you want to do. And if making just enough money to travel and be in Costa Rica and live your life, or you want to have millions because you love whatever, man, it's whatever that person wants, but it's all achievable. There's so much out there. It's so abundant. It's just, again, you got to just figure out what that vehicle is that's going to get you there.
I love it. Well, Cody, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. We did not stick to our 15 minutes, but I do appreciate it. One other question. I know you just got engaged recently, so congrats on that. How long have you known your fiance?
We met 3 weeks ago.
You met 3 weeks ago.
Just kidding. We've been together almost 5 years.
5 years.
And all your success didn't start 5 years ago. So obviously you're remaining the same Cody, which I admire. And you've taught us that when you have this success, you're going to remain the same person, just a better version of yourself. So thank you for those gems. I've loved it. We're going to do this again when I'm better at interviewing. And so we'll see where we're both at then. Keep killing it with your personal brand. I'm going to continue learning from you. I love even seeing the post on your freaking ginormous dog. So I'm going to keep staying tuned. So everyone go follow Cody at Cody Kerns on Instagram. You will learn a ton from that. I promise you.
All right, man. I appreciate it, Tanner. Thanks for having me.
You enjoy this day, and we'll do it again.